For you right now, like knowing the unknown timetable, right? For you in a perfect world, Claressa Shields world, you know, what fight would you like to go next? Are you gonna stick to the fight that you originally had on May, or?
Yeah, I'm gonna stick to the fight that I originally had because there's so much history behind what I'm doing. I'm about to be undisputed in 2 different weight classes. Yeah. Like that hasn't been done in the 4-belt era. If Terrence Crawford was able to get the challenge that he won, he could have possibly been a 2-division world champion. I mean, not 2 divisions, but 2-time undisputed.
2-time, gotcha.
Up in 2 different weight classes. So, for me to be able to do this, to be like, I'm the only person in history that got all 4 belts in 2 different weight classes. Like, that's insane. Like, that's undisputed. Like, I want to do that. Cecilia can't say that she did that. She always kind of boasts about, how she's the first woman to be undisputed and all this other stuff. And it's like, well, so what? If you were so good, why didn't you go to 140? And why didn't you go to 154? And, beat those top girls. But, truth is, she can't. And the truth is that I can. I can fight at 160, beat those girls like I did. And I can fight at 154 and beat all their champions. And, even beat Cecilia in like a catchweight fight. Because I'm not going down to 147. But, I definitely want to get that history. But in a perfect world, I become undisputed 2 different weight classes, fight Layla Ali after, then drop down, beat up Cecilia Brækhus, and after that, I don't even know. Start training for MMA, I guess.
There you go. Salita I read in an article, Salita did say that, Layla Ali doesn't really want to fight. She's just using you as a way to keep her name relevant. And, for me, I want to ask you, knowing that is a big fight for you, both of you guys, she's a name, you're a household name as well. Do you feel be more... and going for her direction, she take up like some tune-up fights to just get some rust off, knowing that she's been out, and see where the fight really is in terms of if it's going to be competitive or not, or what do you think?
I don't have a question on if it's going to be competitive or not. She's a big girl, but she has been retired for 13 years, which I'm like, people just, I think the last name is really what has everybody like so pumped up and thinking that, she's her father or something. It's like, look, man, Muhammad Ali was the greatest. She's not. She's just his daughter. But, I don't think she's serious about it, and that's why I haven't even been giving too much energy. Like, at first, I had got super excited because I seen she go on First Take, and she's saying this, then she's saying that. And then, she go months and months without saying anything. And her team not really saying much. And it was like they give you bits and pieces here, but it's nothing solid, So I'm not even like, excited about that no more. It's more of like, congrats to her on what she did in the past. But for the last, 8 years, I've been the biggest name in women's boxing. I've been the one to go to the Olympics twice. And now I'm, professional and doing my thing here. So I'm not really, I don't think that the fight, do I want it to happen? Yes. Do I think she's serious about it? No. Like, she's selling her seasonings and stuff like that and cooking in the kitchen and doing her thing there. And I wish her the best in that. But as far as in the fight, I don't think she want no smoke with me.
One thing I do revere about you is that you always find a way to challenge yourself. It seems like, just strictly boxing, you're doing everything. You're becoming champion in multiple weight classes. Right now you have undisputed, and it seems like it's coming to an end point. But then you always find a way to challenge yourself, no matter what. You talked about MMA, and I had the opportunity to talk to one of the UFC fighters, and Mickey Gall. I asked him about yourself and how he feels about you going in the cage. He said, first of all, he's like, even if Claressa wins or lose, that's just respect. You trying to go out there, because usually it's the UFC fighters or MMA fighters coming into the boxing world rather than boxers getting in the cage. So he said, just her doing that alone, that's respect enough, because it's not every day that you can transition. But a lot of people forget that, for me, the most common name that hits me, right? If Holly Holmes, that, she had a solid boxing career. She did, she's in UFC now, and, she's having a successful transition. So if she can do it, why can't somebody like yourself, that's, the GWOAT, why can't you have the successful transition in the octagon, you know?
Yeah, I think what people get wrong is that, well, they think I talk a lot, right?
Yeah.
But they're so infatuated with what I say that they're not paying attention to what I do. And everything I said I was going to do, I've done it. Like, you know, in 2 more days, it'll be when I beat Christina Hammer a year ago to become Undisputed Champ. And it just showed, like, the interviews leading up to that, I was telling everybody, like, I'm going to beat her ass. Like, I just kept telling everybody that. And as far as in MMA, I'm not going to go in there blind. You know what I mean? And I'm not scared. That's the thing. You know, people are so afraid to test themselves. And I'm not. Yeah. I'm not. I'm really a hard worker. And whatever I put my mind to, I can do. And it's just about practice makes perfect. And I think that people don't know something that I live by is the 5 P's. And that's proper preparation prevents poor performance. And I've lived by that since I heard it. You know, yeah. I forgot who said that quote to me. But ever since then, it just was like proper preparation. If you prepare the proper way, it will prevent from having a poor performance. And that's what boxing is to me. It's like you getting prepared for a test, and the boxing match is that test. You know? And just the comparison to me and Holly Holm, I have so much respect for her. Like, I watched her win in the ring. I watched her lose in the ring. And I watched her do her thing up in MMA. And I would say, like, you know, just her mindset of how strong she is. She's like 38 now.
Yeah.
She's out there, you know, literally kicking girls' ass. Like, literally kicking at girls' ass. And, you know, I think that me and her style was different. Like, she was a big mover in boxing. I'm more of a come and get you and make you fight. Like, I'm not backing down from no fight with nobody. Like, I will move around a little bit if it comes down to it. But if anything, when I get into any fight, I'm there to cause damage.
Yeah.
You know, against whoever it is and whatever it is. So with these girls in MMA, like, I'm not going to go out there being afraid of being taken down. Like, I'm going to practice takedown defense. And I'm going to practice, you know, taking girls down my damn self just in case if I have to. And I'm going to learn everything all around it. Like, I've already learned, like, some kicks. And I've already learned, like, just some tricks and stuff, you know, because I'm always asking questions. And I mean, just from to Andre Berto to Tyron Woodley, like, up in boxing, I'll ask anybody. If I have a question about anything, I will literally ask it and note it in my mind and on paper. And I got moves that Timothy Bradley done showed me. Andre Ward.
Oh, wow.
Andre Durrell, freaking Anthony Durrell. I mean, I asked so many questions, and I'm so mad that I was sick back when I was in Georgia because me and Tyron Woodley was on the same show together, and he'll tell you, I asked him, I don't know how many questions.
Yeah.
I don't know how many, and it was just like, you know, I'm so up front, and I've met him a couple times, but just this time I'm like, when I'm talking to him, I'm like, so, like, I'm asking him, like, seriously, like, do you think I could be good at MMA? And he was like, of course. Like, Claressa, like, he don't blow smoke up people's ass, and he like, yo, you can really fucking fight. Like, I watch your fights. I tune into your scrapping. I don't watch no other female fighter. So, for him to tell me that, he was like, but all you gotta do in MMA is, like, you have to learn to defend takedowns. And he showed me some kicks and how to take kicks and just stuff like that and how to condition my legs for when it do come down to if a girl is kicking my leg. Like, I just asked so many questions and I know everything. So I can go back and look at it. So when I do start making that transition, I'm making sure that no stone goes unturned.
There you go. Since you're expanding your fight game, you know, boxing is always going to be your main arsenal. The one question I was curious about, because I was asking the guy from yesterday, Mickey Gall, I was like, you know, I know he's practicing boxing now. And I tell him, you know, knowing that boxing is not your main principle and you do kickboxing, jiu-jitsu and whatnot, I was like, do you ever get in that stage where you're boxing and you want to kick somebody? He told me, like, yeah, he's messed up a couple times where he's sparring a couple boxers and he'll kick them by accident. For you, I know you've been expanding your game too in terms of kickboxing. When you're sparring somebody just strictly boxing, do you ever get in that mode where, like, oh, I think I could just kick him here, and it accidentally, you know, because of it's a practice, you know, it becomes like a it becomes routine. Okay. No, I don't. I like try to. This is the problem with a lot of boxers, and I'm gonna say one specifically, like a guy who I literally love to death, who's so respectful to me, Adrian Broner. Everybody think, oh, he a bad guy. He's really a good dude, and
I think that some people get caught in a moment, right? They had such a great fight, and they get stuck there. So when they're in that great fight and they go to and now it's another opponent, they're still in that last fight. So their mind hasn't transitioned to being in that moment where they need to be because they're so stuck on, when I beat this dude, I felt like this. I felt like this and that and that. They're not able to make their mind go to like, oh, this is a whole different opponent, whole different arena, whole different everything. Their mind can't go there because they were so successful in this. For me, after I win every fight, after every training session, the next day I'm like, we starting over at zero.
Wow.
It's a different day. It's a different person. So even when I'm sparring, it's like I get my mind ready because even if it's a certain sparring partner, like, okay, for instance, when I spar against guys, I'll put a guy on his ass. Like, I'll punch him hard, slip, be on my A game. But when I'm in there with, like, a woman who's working with me, who's my sparring partner, in my mind, I would program it for that day. Like, you know what? Remember, don't put all your strength on your right hand. Don't put so much on it when you pull it back with the hook. Don't jab her and make her fucking nose bleed. You know what I mean? Like, go in there, work with her, get some control. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have to be able to make your mind transition to what you're doing that day at that moment with whoever it is. So for me, I would never kick somebody in a boxing match. It's just impossible because I'm always inside my head asking myself like, hey, you know where you at? You know what you're doing? You know who you getting ready to fight? What's the game plan for this fighter? And I say it in my head like, for Christina Hammer, I fought her different than I fought everybody else. Same thing for my last fight against Ivana. Like, I had it, like, I wasn't thinking like, oh, my last fight was so great. I freaking beat up Hammer, became undisputed. I'm just like, no. Like, this fight is a whole different fight because, one, you're at lower weight class. This girl is faster than Hammer. This girl, got a little bit better defense. So make sure you own your game. So I had a whole different game plan for Ivana than what I have for Hammer.
Yeah.
But in order for you to have your mind go there, it's a lot of mind strength to leave such a great fight and such great moments behind in your head because you want to keep feeling so good. You want to be feeling like, remember when Adrian Broner became 4-time division world champ? He was like, oh, yeah. He feeling it.
Yeah.
And when you had a fight like that to where people were telling you, like, Adrian Broner ain't going to be no 4-time division world champ.
Yeah.
He is. So that feeling of him proving everybody wrong and, being, people consider him to be a level under Floyd Mayweather, like right there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a great feeling he had. And I just think he was never able to get out of that mindset and that opponent. That's what
you go. Just in terms of, like, not just for yourself, but in terms of just the whole boxing community, like, can you just imagine going to octagon, get the victory? Like, that would be so significant for boxing because it's like, I think we have a bad record in terms of boxing going to the octagon. With, like, UFC usually kick the boxer's ass in the octagon, but for you to do it, like, that would be like a huge win for us, boxing community over the MMA world. That would be crazy.
I think when I do, I'm not going to say if, but when I do it, I feel like the doubters are going to be like, they always have something to say. It's always, oh, well, this and oh, well, that. And for me, I feel like that would solidify me as like the greatest combat
the baddest woman of all combat sports.
Yeah, period. Like the world of everything. So I really do want it to happen, and that's why I'm going to like dedicate myself to it. But definitely going to be something crazy to do, and it's going to be hard. Anybody who tries to tell me like, oh, it's going to be easy because you can outbox these girls and outpunch them and all this crazy stuff, but I'd be like, man, get it. I don't even want those kind of people around me because I know that anything worth achieving is going to be hard.
Yeah.
It's not going to be easy. Like, there's some days I'm in the gym and I'm just like, man, I'm so sick of fucking being here. I'm sick of doing this. I'm sick of trying to, perfect my hook. I'm sick of trying to perfect the uppercut. I'm sick of it. But then it's another part of me that's like, so what if today is a hard day? Like, get it the fuck over with,
Yeah.
And, get ready for tomorrow.
I feel you, Chad. I was going to tell you, like, in terms of the way it seems like your career is going, you're getting the big interviews now. You're getting more exposure. TMZ, ESPN. You know, have you ever seen yourself doing the Tyson Fury route if offered, like WWE, to get more exposure and go on that route, become a champion in that sport? You know, that's still making history though. You know, nobody's ever done it. You know, imagine.
Boxing. I did have like a daydream one time of being like a WWE fighter, but you know, I don't know. It's not something that I've thought a lot about, but I do know that I can definitely sell whatever fight it is. I know that I talk loud and a lot just by myself. I don't have to be coached to do that. But who knows? Who knows what holds in the future? Maybe when I'm about 34 or something.
Yeah.